On behalf of the Global Independent VMUG organization, I'd like to welcome you to today's webcast, VMware Ready Nodes Unleashed in StarWind HyperConverged Appliance, presented by Tara Shved, Director of Sales Engineering at StarWind. Before we get started, I would like to thank you for participating in today's webcast and for your continued participation in the VMUG program. Just as a reminder, VMUG offers a number of benefits to our members, including complimentary local VMUG meetings and full-day conferences taking place around the world, our monthly e-newsletter VMUG Voice, access to the VMUG website at vmug.com, educational webcasts like these, and the ability to subscribe to VMUG Advantage, a benefits package only available to VMUG members that provides discounts on training, exams, licenses, eval experience, and VMworld. Make sure to take advantage of everything VMUG has to offer. Moving on, I have 3 housekeeping items. First, we are recording today's session and will make the recording available for on-demand. You can expect to receive a follow-up email directing you to the recording. Second, we will be holding a Q&A session throughout the presentation. All questions need to be entered into the Q&A widget window to ensure our speaker sees and receives them. They will be addressed one by one accordingly. And third, there will be a short online evaluation that pops up when you leave the webcast. Please make sure to take a minute to let us know what you thought of today's session and what you'd like to see moving forward. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Taras. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Karen, and greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking your time and attending our webcast. I am very excited about the opportunity to present our products on VMUG. Today we will speak about 2 of our newest products, StarWind HyperConverged Appliance and StarWind Storage Appliance, a turnkey hardware solution that are pre-built and pre-configured, which means indeed much less work for you. And we will start with number 1, HyperConverged Appliance for small business and remote and branch offices. Let me shortly introduce myself. My name is Taras, and I'm heading Sales Engineering Department here at StarWind, being directly involved into development of the new products and features. I'm very pleased, and it's a great honor for me to present our new products to you today. My position is probably a bit confusing, so I have to explain that I'm definitely not a sales guy, and I assume most of you are experienced VMware users and administrators, like deeply tech people. Of course, our today's webcast is more general and informative, but I will do my best to be technical today instead of pitching stuff, and especially during our questions and answers session during the webcast and probably at the end of it. So, as you probably know, StarWind software has been around for like over 10 years already, providing extremely efficient software-defined storage called StarWind Virtual SAN. More than a year ago, we released a hardware product, HyperConverged Appliance, that is incredibly successful and brings us hundreds of satisfied customers and a lot of positive feedback. So what is it actually? Shortly said, it's a turnkey virtualization solution, mainly, that unifies commodity servers, disk, flash, hypervisor of choice, virtual SAN of your choice, and associated software into a single, scalable, and manageable layer. HyperConverged Appliance allows you to easily build a complete, reliable, and scalable IT virtualization infrastructure, like from scratch, or extend your existing one, achieving high availability and fault tolerance for your mission-critical applications. One of the greatest benefits here is the simplicity. Since we take care about the initial configuration that totally fits your or your customer's needs and requirements, all you will have to do is to plug in the cables and start spinning up your virtual machines. As a tech guy, I realize that most of us do love our job in terms of having fun setting up and configuring clusters and playing around with hardware. And you might say, hey, I don't want someone to do my job for me. But if you can save your time for more interesting and challenging tasks, instead of routine ones, then why not? Unlike classic approach, where compute and storage layers are separated, hypervisor running on commodity servers and storage on traditional hardware SAN or NAS, StarWind HCA is hyperconverged. It combines like both layers together in a single appliance, requiring less effort from the on-site IT team and using less hardware for the same task. Therefore, the hyperconverged appliance is easier to manage and definitely less expensive to buy and maintain. And unlike typical hyperconverged solutions, StarWind HyperConverged Appliance has a minimalistic hardware footprint with the initial highly available setup of only 2 servers. Switches are not required, well, flash is optional, as well as 10 or 40 gig Ethernet. As a matter of fact, the appliance will easily go with 1 gigabit Ethernet if required. With less hardware to purchase and maintain, StarWind HCA is easier to manage and expenses are dramatically reduced also. Furthermore, there are no, like what we call hidden costs, typically present in other hyperconverged solutions in the form of additional proprietary hardware, for example, some software requirements. Employing all the technologies of associated software, StarWind HyperConverged Appliance achieves like enterprise class performance and features at SMB and global cost. Another great thing about StarWind HyperConverged Appliance is that it is built using like best of breed commodity components, which means a seamless and easy scale up option for you. You personally can easily add or upgrade your CPU, add more RAM, increase your performance by adding more flash drives, or expand your storage by increasing the number of drives or replacing the existing drives with larger ones. StarWind HCA is a white box, literally, so which means there are no vendor locked or proprietary components, and you can order those by your local hardware dealer you are comfortable to work with. And since each appliance host is being immediately synchronized with partners, all these scale-up upgrade measures can be done without even shortest downtime in your production environment. Another great thing is like scale out by StarWind. It's the approach with the modern virtualization trend in mind. It is a much more efficient and cost-effective alternative to traditional scale-up. The idea behind scale-out is like to grow both storage and compute power by adding just additional nodes like blocks instead of adding disk, CPU, network cards, or RAM to individual systems. Increasing the number of nodes increases reliability by eliminating single points of failure in your environment. It also gives you a more flexible computing environment by treating all servers as a unified compute and storage resource pool. A great thing here is that adding nodes with the same hardware configuration isn't necessary. You can easily add performance-tuned or capacity-tuned nodes depending on your requirement and your needs. Managing a scale-out cluster is really easy and requires no downtime to take out old hardware. The performance impact in case of a failure is much lower compared to the scale-up approach, since should any node fail, all virtual machines and applications fail over and rebalance between multiple nodes of the scale-out cluster. Thus, it doesn't cause an I/O hit on your production environment. We have spent years and years on testing various hardware and software components to offer you the exceptional quality, reliability, and performance along with simplicity and low cost of the solution. StarWind HyperConverged Appliances are based on PowerEdge Dell Server series. Performance is boosted using SSDs and NVMe flash by Intel, and high-speed networking is rented by Mellanox cards inside. Depending on your needs and current configuration, we can offer you appliances that have VMware vSphere as a hypervisor and a virtual SAN of choice, and Veeam backup and replication that provides fast, flexible, and reliable recovery of virtualized applications and data. With the virtual SAN of choice, I mean that you are flexible in choosing what or which technology will be the element that moves and synchronizes data between hosts participating in the cluster, since StarWind HyperConverged Appliance offers a choice of software-defined storage options and can utilize StarWind Virtual SAN or VMware VSAN as a virtual storage provider. People are constantly asking me about why are we using various competitive software-defined storage solutions in our product. The true matter here is that StarWind Virtual SAN is a complementary rather than a competitive solution to VMware Virtual SAN. In case we see that you can reduce the cost of the whole solution by avoiding to pay for the VMware vSAN features you do not actually need, we will use our own software, and that's it actually. If we see that you are going to benefit from a combined solution, we will provide you with a stack where VMware vSAN will coexist with a StarWind Virtual SAN on the same hardware. Technically, what we do here at StarWind is tapping holes in VMware products and positioning strategy in terms of features they miss, as well as bringing the whole hyperconvergence to another level by making good quality hardware even more affordable and setting 24/7 support as a routine and a checkbox feature. To be more precise here and give you an example, you can benefit, for example, you can benefit from all-flash configurations that will have deduplication and compression options along with ISO RDMA features and capabilities without investing too much into vSAN licenses, especially if we are talking about a 2-node, which is obviously the most popular SMB and robust scenario, and which is quite perfect for small businesses and remote and branch offices that they do not tend to have large infrastructures. They have quite limited budgets, and even with newly announced iSCSI connectivity in vSAN 6.5, like the newest one a couple of days ago, you can still benefit having StarWind Virtual SAN in our appliances, since we provide industry-standard, fast and reliable iSCSI with 2 additional levels of caching, deduplication, log structuring, and it's just more cost-effective. And that might be very useful in mixed environments where you need to feed storage to other Windows or then-based hosts and clusters over iSCSI. In this case, you can do it without spinning additional virtual machines or services as a, like special storage controllers that should work outside the current vSAN infrastructure. Yeah, the name Veeam is self-explaining to you, I guess, so I will shortly clarify its role in our turnkey solution. Along with StarWind Virtual SAN or VMware Virtual SAN, Veeam backup and replication is just tapping holes in other products included. It offers a high-speed recovery of your data and avoids data loss in the virtualized environment. Proven ability to recover, well, almost any type of data, complete visibility of backup infrastructure and data leverage helps you to easily follow the 3-2-1 backup rule, including disaster recovery scenarios on-site and in the cloud. While StarWind Virtual SAN provides you the ability of asynchronous whole storage-based replication, Veeam offers you the same on macro VM level, like object-level backup, making our solution incredibly flexible in terms of configuration and possible scenarios you might want to implement. One of the main features of the HyperConverged Appliance is covered by the product name, actually, and I have already mentioned it. Another key benefit is an exceptional flexibility in terms of connectivity with multiple protocols, because our appliances offer a true SMB 3.0 with dialect features if needed for Active Directory or Microsoft-based environments, a block-level iSCSI, an NFS and network file system, a VMware virtual volume, along with ISO and RDMA over Converged Ethernet, and NVMe over Fabric. It has a really literally rich variety of management options like web management interface, VMware vCenter plugin, along with traditional standalone clients you are probably already familiar with if you already used our software before. StarWind HyperConverged Appliance uses multi-tiered RAM and flash caching for exceptional performance, independent of which virtual SAN you choose to go with, reducing I/O latency to an absolute minimum. It achieves high performance with conventional SATA SSDs, RAM, and MLC flash. Caches are distributed between the hosts or between the nodes participating in a cluster, achieving fast and reliable write-back policy without employing uber-expensive proprietary hardware like most of the vendors of hardware solutions on the market do. A great thing here is that StarWind raises performance by having a bigger cache for the same money. Commodity inexpensive hardware is used, like MLC flash instead of costly SLC flash, so more memory may be bought to meet workload requirements. In addition, starting virtual machines after migration doesn't affect the performance, as all moved VMs are started in a kinda hot state because caches are kept coherent and synchronized between nodes. This means that the destination node holds the required data in the cache, so the virtual machine starts without a loss in performance after migration. Of course, reliability is kept at maximum. StarWind basically mirrors data in cache between multiple nodes, creating distributed cache. This way, even when the power goes out, all data is safe because redundant replicas are stored on all the hosts, besides cache blocks are digitally signed, negating the possibility of silent data corruption, bit rot. Additionally, space reduction technologies lengthen the life of flash memory, lowering the risk of failure. StarWind Appliance achieves fault-tolerant and high availability with a minimalistic two-node setup. So you only need two nodes, and if choosing StarWind Virtual SAN to mirror storage and caches between the nodes, you don't need even a cloud witness. As a result, the appliance can withstand failures of individual disks, memory modules, or even an entire host without compromising our time. This said more. To achieve fault tolerance for a storage subsystem, duplication or even triplication of all the critical components is usually used. In a converged deployment scenario, StarWind runs virtual storage on multiple hypervisor nodes. In the non-converged scenario, storage runs on many dedicated commodity servers. The shared logical unit is basically mirrored between the hosts, maintaining data integrity and continuous operation, even if one or more nodes fail. Every active host acts as a storage controller, and every logical unit has duplicated or triplicated data backend. Multipath nature makes sure that even if some I/O fails, the work will just continue instantly with zero downtime. This way, 49% uptime is achieved with a two-way replica and like 99 and 0.49% with a three-way replica. Going beyond triplications is considered pointless for most cases, I would say, unless it's a life-critical system like a nuclear power plant, reactor control, or cruise missile guidance operations. StarWind HCA employs StarWind VSAN internode tiering technology, which is essentially performance-preserving and a flash-saving mechanism. They offload the rarely used code data from expensive primary storage to inexpensive secondary tier, stopping performance degradation and prolonging flash life. Optionally, all our hardware products are capable to offload rarely used code data directly to cloud on hardware level, transparently decreasing the capital and operating expenses of the solution even more. And of course, the exact variety of all the features I've just listed in the appliance you get from us depends on your requirements, on your needs, and on the virtual SAN you choose to go with, obviously. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you our another major product that is called StarWind Storage Appliance. Since we are currently revamping our product line, you can treat it as a backup appliance too. Staying in close contact with our customers and analyzing their feedback along with market demand, we have realized that there are a lot of small business and branch offices that need more storage that our HyperConverged appliance or any other HyperConverged product usually offer. Of course, the major part of your production virtual machines remain fixed in terms of consuming storage, or they tend to grow very slowly. But we all know the fact that file servers, mail servers, database servers tend to grow exponentially and sometimes even unpredictably, resulting in additional complexity in planning a hyperconverged system in terms of storage. There are some very nice SMB and robo-level products on the market like QNAP or Synology, and many IT guys install these as a production storage for small offices or small and home offices. But let us be true here. Their main purpose is a backup, which they do perfectly, not production. Lack of failover capabilities and connectivity options along with proprietary software and hardware inside these boxes make them merely suitable for production purposes, I would say. On the other side, there are a lot of storage vendors that create rack mount storage servers, but the pricing and positioning are far away from SMB and robo needs. Mostly having the striking word enterprise and product or model name, which means just another price level. And so many of us IT guys are spending our time building such kind of systems by ourselves, using commodity hardware and disks, and depending on time spent while planning such systems, they are more or less stable, more or less fast, and complicated in terms of support anyway. So what we did is a high-end storage platform built with, again, what we call best of breed, just commodity components that can serve as high-performance primary storage for server virtualization, for VDI, for database and essential big data scenarios, or, for example, some kind of a secondary backup tier with an optional gateway to, let's say, Azure or Amazon AWS public cloud, right? StarWind Storage Appliance with out-of-the-box cloud functionality is much more agile and cost-efficient than traditional directly attached storage-based setup with additional backup hardware. We offer several cloud offload technologies that one of them are software-based, another are hardware-based, and are incredibly flexible in terms of fitting your needs and requirements. The component footprint. Yeah, the component footprint of the storage appliance is quite traditional for StarWind products. Dell PowerEdge R730XD servers armed with 6 PCI Express slots that provide enough resources to process storage requests and run applications and data. Networking background is powered by one of my favorite vendors, Mellanox Technologies. These robust pieces of hardware provide incredibly high performance while still being very flexible platforms with low power consumption and using multi-host technology across multiple cores. Obviously, most of the exciting features of the appliance and sense of virtual shared storage are provided by well-known StarWind Virtual SAN or VMware VSAN, our software-based hypervisor-centric virtual machine storage, or VMware One. Both of them are mirroring hard disks and flash drives between the servers, building a classic converged architecture on a dedicated set of hosts, along with providing cached SCSI block level connectivity, asynchronous replication, virtual tape library, and tape redirector features. Virtual machines backup and replication is provided by Veeam. It's fast, it's reliable, it's flexible, it provides a reliable recovery of virtualized applications and data as a single backup and replication solution. A frequent question that I hear from prospecting customers is regarding the pricing, of our solution, since Dell is known not only because of exceptional quality and usability of their server hardware, but also also because of somewhat higher pricing compared to other similar vendors. and thus resulting in a higher price for our hardware solution. Therefore, the customers are usually pleasantly surprised after receiving the quotation from our sales department, and I will try to explain that a little. We are producing a large amount of Dell-based hardware products and selling them, and we have an admirable discount from Dell for their hardware. Nothing special. Actually, a lot of other players in the market do the same, and Dell does the same by themselves. What they do not, and we are proud about that, we gladly share this discount with our customers, which means you will probably never be able to build such kind of system from the components by yourself at the same price. Scaling options are also quite traditional. The StarWind storage appliance can do both: scale up by adding or upgrading CPUs, RAM, individual disk, flash models, or JBODs, and scale out by adding ready controller nodes. Since all our products are based on commodity hardware, this scaling can be done by the customer after just a short consultation with our technical support department. The storage appliance is designed for classic converged or compute and storage separated scenario, segregating storage from the main platform. It interacts with consumer infrastructure, virtualization, database servers, and so on with ease using industry standard uplink protocols. So it can iSCSI, it can do SMB3, it can do network file system, it can do vVolt on iSCSI, it can do NVMe over Fabric, it can do ISER, and traditional fabrics, Ethernet, InfiniBand, SAS, or SATA. Utilizing converged architecture, StarWind storage appliance allows to scale compute and storage resources independently from each other. So the approach is quite different from the traditional hyperconverged stuff. StarWind storage appliance was initially created to handle database, big data, and virtualization workloads properly and avoid any performance degradation. To achieve that, it uses in-house developed technologies such as log structured file system we have. It's designed to minimize the impact of random I/O, which dominates virtualization space. Basically, it makes small random writes into big sequential pages, getting better performance from HDD and avoiding other issues typically associated with virtualization workloads. Being aware of the log-on-log issue, StarWind storage appliance has taken care of it. StarWind storage appliance is efficient in conserving disk space. Thanks to space reduction technologies of StarWind Virtual SAN and VMware VSAN, especially when it comes to petabytes of data and all-flash appliances where capacity is extremely expensive. Deduplication and compression ensure better performance and capacity utilization, dramatically reducing the actual amount of data to transfer and process. Thus, StarWind appliance can cope with significantly more data than its raw capacity is. In addition to its own inline deduplication, which is good for running VMs, StarWind storage appliance can use third-party offline deduplication, which is less resource critical and better for cold or rarely accessed data like backup, for example. The appliance has most of the beneficial hyperconverged appliance features, including asynchronous replication, snapshots, automated storage steering that I have already explained previously, so I would rather clarify another one of the most important things in IT, which is support, of course. Single point of contact is our another known key benefit and probably the best one. That is why I do not tend to call it support, since traditional support by large vendors like VMware or Microsoft or Dell sometimes means cycling between multiple support teams and people trying, or even organizations, to figure out what is the root cause of the issue. And it can take hours, you know. In case of downtime, it might be critical. In case of really critical issues, that might result in irremediable impact to your business too. All hardware and software components of StarWind appliances are covered by a single StarWind 24/7 365 support umbrella. instead of messing around with a couple of various support services, like one for hardware and another one for software and then for hypervisor and whatsoever, you can just call us and our engineers will fix the issue in the shortest time, independent of the root cause, whether it's a hardware malfunction, software issue, just a slight misconfiguration. I mean, you will have a live and technical person on the call as soon as possible. This kind of approach helps you to minimize your expenses dramatically, since we are not only splitting our hardware discounts with you to make our ready nodes even cheaper than anything you would build yourself on a do-it-yourself concept, but yeah, we like babysit your clusters for you, so you don't need to do anything yourself. No one else does, actually. That's it from my side for today. Thank you very much for taking your time to attend this webinar. And if you have any questions left regarding today's topic or about StarWind in general, I will gladly try to answer them. In case I will not be able to get the answer out of my head right now, it would be perfect to get it over email you see on your screens right now, just with VMware webinar or VMware webcast in subject, or just drop us a call. Nice fact is that I have a question to you also. I will be performing another webcast for VMware community in a month, and I would really appreciate if you give me a short feedback on what would you like me to tell you about in a month. Okay, so it's time for your questions. Should you have any, please use the questions and answers box to send it over, and I will gladly answer them.
Thanks, Taras. As a reminder to our attendees, as Taras just said, to enter any questions, please use your Q&A widget window located on your screen. Taras, at this time, we do not have any questions, but do you have any thoughts you'd like to share with us?
No, actually, everything I wanted to tell you, I've done. Yeah, probably I was clear enough, so we don't have much questions. Like I could cover everything that might interest someone in like a really new product introduction.
Great. Well, at this time, we do not have any questions, so I think we will wrap up the webinar. As Taras mentioned, if you do have any additional questions for him directly, please feel free to use the email address sales@starwind.com. I would like to thank you, Taras, today for taking the time to speak with us and for our attendees for joining us. You will receive a follow-up email directing to the materials from today's webcast. Please make sure to complete the short online evaluation that pops up when you leave to let us know how today's session went. Thank you again for attending and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you very much. I wish you a perfect day and hope you have enjoyed the session. Bye. Okay, guys. So it looks like we start to receiving questions here, so it was maybe too fast. The first question comes from Todd Myers, and it sounds like, do you take advantage of hardware-based RAID controllers, or is the redundancy done all in software? Okay, a rather good question, and there are a lot of holy wars right now taking part in IT world comparing the software RAID technologies that VMware VSAN and Storage Spaces Direct are using. And in our case, depending on the virtual SAN you choose, you can get a HyperConverged appliance with a StarWind VSAN that can work on top of hardware RAID. Or if you get an appliance with VMware VSAN, then obviously there will be no RAID as underlying storage. I've done a lot of performance testing, like comparing what performs better. Things like Nowadays, we are getting rid of old spindle rust, and more people tend to buy all-flash configurations. And it's a good question whether you have more performance, like bringing SSDs in a hardware RAID 5 or making it an erasure coding array with a software RAID. Depends on the workload. There are workloads that are better for a software-based erasure coded RAID. There are workloads that are better for a hardware RAID. I wouldn't say I know for sure, but as for virtualization, we still tend to use a RAID 5 hardware-based SSD array. It has a bottleneck in, like I would assume for LSI RAID controllers, these are something like 150,000 IOPS or maybe more. But until that point, like if we are talking about SMB deployment, it's pretty rather enough, and the hardware RAID 5 of SSDs performs better than a software-based one. So as for questions, we can do both. We can do a hardware RAID controller based in an appliance, or it can be a software RAID. It depends on your requirements, and we are really flexible in this. And the second question comes from Joseph Saft. Taras, do you have customers with real-time industrial production who rely on your technology for a case solution? So absolutely and definitely. Depending on how critical is your production, we can do with the StarWind VSAN, we can do a 2-node replica or a 3-node replication. Of course, arming all the hosts with independent switches and eliminating all the possible single point of failure, you can definitely use it in production. And I don't know personally the customers, but I'm sure we have quite some in Europe, and we have more and more customers in the United States that are using our hardware for production purposes. If you would like to have a reference or a person to speak with, like a real customer, just throw us an email, and most probably we will find a contact person for you to discuss this. We are really open in that matter. Okay, any other questions left?
I think that is it for our questions, Taras. Thank you for taking the time to answer those.
Sure.
If there aren't any other questions, we will wrap up the webinar. As a reminder, a recording will be sent out to attendees at the conclusion of this webcast. Please make sure to complete the evaluation that pops up when you leave the webcast. Thanks again, Taras. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.